If he was supposed to be healed, God would have done it himself.
Interesting point.
We will have no choice but to follow the law of Moses.
I am the law of Moses.
You can't hear insulting words.
Oh, I am just getting started.
The desecrations of heresy will be purged from this sacred place.
I and the Father are one.
Nothing can prepare you for what The Chosen Season 6, Episode 1 is about to deliver. From the very first frame, the calm we once felt in earlier seasons evaporates. The warmth, the hope, the gentle moments of laughter, they're gone. In their place is an unflinching confrontation with fear, betrayal, and the looming shadow of the crucifixion. The trailer teased us, but seeing this footage, feeling the weight of what's coming, it's impossible not to be pulled into the story with every fiber of your being. This isn't entertainment. This is an emotional journey designed to make every viewer feel the consequences of the choices, the silence, and the suffering. The Chosen Season 6 Episode 1 doesn't ask if we're ready, it forces us to be. Episode 1 wastes no time. There is no gentle introduction, no soft build-up. From the moment the screen fades in, we are thrust into the heart of chaos. Jesus is already caught in the storm of accusation, the tension heavy in the air like a suffocating fog. The apostles, those who followed him with unwavering faith, are visibly shaken. Their attempts to defend him are desperate but futile. Every word they speak falls flat against the weight of authority and prejudice pressing down on Jesus. The arrest in Gethsemane is brutal in its simplicity. No cinematic embellishment, no exaggerated cries, just a guard's hand striking Jesus, a reminder of human cruelty that cuts deeper than any battle scene. Every movement feels deliberate, every silence deliberate too. You can feel the disciples' fear radiating off the screen, their eyes darting in confusion and despair. They are no longer confident heroes, they are ordinary men facing an impossible reality, forced to watch their teacher endure what they cannot prevent. The pacing is intentional, designed to let every second of hesitation, every whispered attempt at defense, resonate. And then there's Jesus himself. His calm is unshakable, almost unbearable to witness. While chaos surrounds him, he does not flinch, he does not argue, he does not plead. His silence is a shield and a statement. It is both comforting and terrifying. Watching him navigate these moments with quiet purpose makes the audience painfully aware of the inevitability of what's coming. This episode does not allow viewers to distance themselves. You feel the terror, the moral confusion, and the helplessness as if you are right there, standing among the disciples, knowing what awaits. Every glance, every subtle gesture is charged with meaning. Even the smallest choices, the disciples hesitating to step forward, the guards' restrained aggression, the flicker of doubt in Pilate's eyes, carry monumental weight, and the scale of the setting amplifies this tension. Locations feel alive and oppressive, from the shadowed corridors of the high priest's home to the crowded, watchful streets. The power dynamics are clear and unrelenting. Authority here is terrifyingly calm, not loud or chaotic. The threat is methodical, controlled, unavoidable. Jesus stands at the center, not as a passive figure, but as the calm eye in a storm of human injustice. Every moment in this first episode is designed to pull the viewer in, to make the heart race, to ensure that no one watching can remain detached. The storytelling is ruthless in its honesty. Nothing is glossed over, nothing is softened. The emotional weight is immediate and constant. And even as the episode builds toward Jesus' first confrontation with the authorities, there is a lingering, oppressive sense of dread. You know the end of the story, but that knowledge does not protect you from the raw, human experience being depicted. Every reaction, every silence, every fleeting hope and failed defense adds layer upon layer of tension. It is a careful, deliberate unspooling of a tragedy we think we know. Yet the execution is so visceral, so precise, that it hits as if for the first time. The Chosen Season 6, Episode 1 does not let the audience watch from a safe distance. It places you squarely in the middle of the narrative storm, forcing you to witness the injustice, the fear, the heartbreak, and the courage all at once. And in this first hour, before the crucifixion even begins, it becomes terrifyingly clear. This season is not about comfort. It is about truth, raw and unflinching, and it is going to leave no one untouched. The trial begins with a sense of suffocating inevitability, a weight that presses down on everyone in the room. There is no dramatic music to manipulate emotions, no overt commentary to tell us what to feel, just raw human interactions, small movements, and moments of quiet devastation. Jesus stands at the center of the Sanhedrin, calm, composed, fully aware of the consequences that await him. Every gesture, every look, every pause feels deliberate. You can sense the tension in the air. It is almost tangible, heavy, and inescapable. The high priest questions Jesus, but his words are not born of a desire for truth. They are carefully chosen, precise, designed to trap, to elicit a misstep, to provide a pretext for condemnation. And yet Jesus answers simply, clearly, without fear, without avoidance. He does not insult, he does not plead, he simply declares what is true, and in doing so, he sets the course for the events that will follow. Watching this unfold, the audience is forced to confront the raw cruelty of systems that have already decided their outcomes. This is not a story of uncertainty or trial for the sake of drama. It is a meticulous portrayal of human injustice, authority wielded without conscience, and courage met with indifference. The disciples are present, and their struggle is almost unbearable to watch. They move like shadows around Jesus, attempting to defend him, to intervene, to do something, anything to change the tide, but their words falter, their actions hesitate. Every failure, every misstep, every moment of silence amplifies the tension. They are not heroes in this scene. They are humans, small and fragile in the face of overwhelming power. And that is what makes this episode so haunting. It refuses to grant the audience moral distance. We are not allowed to simply watch. We are forced to feel, to empathize, to confront the discomfort of powerlessness. Every glance exchanged between the disciples and Jesus carries meaning. Fear, confusion, guilt, and helplessness are etched onto their faces in ways that speak louder than any dialogue could. There is no need for grand gestures. The story relies on the quiet, crushing weight of reality, the internal turmoil of ordinary people trapped in impossible circumstances. The trailer hinted at these moments, but experiencing them in the episode is far more harrowing. It is slow, deliberate, and excruciating in the best possible way. As the trial progresses, the stakes escalate. The council's frustration grows, their attempts to corner Jesus becoming more desperate, more forceful. Witnesses contradict themselves, accusations overlap, and the chaos of human error and bias becomes almost unbearable to watch. It is a careful orchestration of tension, designed to make the audience feel the injustice in every detail. Jesus remains unwavering, calm, his silence a mirror to the audience, forcing us to sit with the discomfort, the fear, and the inevitability. The contrast between his stillness and the chaos around him is shocking. It is as if the world itself is spinning out of control, yet he stands as the unshakable center. That tension between calm and chaos, innocence and accusation, is the heartbeat of this opening episode. Then comes the betrayal, the subtle, soul-crushing betrayal that cuts deeper than any physical blow. It is not just the obvious acts of disloyalty, the kiss of Judas, the murmurs of the crowd. It is the quiet moments where friends hesitate, where fear overrides loyalty, where good intentions crumble under pressure. Every look away, every faltering step, every moment of self-preservation at the expense of another's suffering is felt as sharply as the blows Jesus receives. This episode does not sensationalize betrayal. It makes it personal, human, unavoidable. The disciples are not just witnesses, they are participants, their emotions, hesitations, and failures woven into the fabric of the story. Watching them struggle, fail, and hesitate makes the audience confront uncomfortable truths about courage, fear, and human weakness. The episode carefully lingers on these moments, giving each choice, each failure space to resonate, space to hurt. The narrative refuses to hurry past the emotional cost of these decisions, ensuring that every act of betrayal lands fully, crushingly on the audience's heart. Even Pilate's role is portrayed with a chilling subtlety. He is not a caricature of cruelty. He is a man caught between responsibility and fear, between authority and the expectations of the crowd. His discomfort, his hesitation, his attempts to transfer responsibility to others are all rendered with devastating realism. Every glance, every gesture, every sigh conveys the burden of power misused and the moral compromise forced by circumstance. Watching Pilate navigate these moments is a lesson in human frailty, the tragedy of moral compromise, and the consequences of yielding to public pressure. His ultimate failure to act justly is not sudden. It is the product of deliberation, hesitation, and fear, and the episode captures every nuance with painstaking care. Finally, as the first episode draws toward its conclusion, the crushing weight of inevitability becomes impossible to ignore. Every decision made, every moment of silence, every hesitant step brings Jesus closer to the cross. And yet, the episode does not allow for despair without understanding. It shows the disciples' heartbreak, the internal struggles, and the quiet courage required to continue in the face of what cannot be changed. The audience is left with a lingering sense of dread, not because the story is violent or shocking, but because it is real, human, and unavoidable. The emotional resonance of the episode is amplified by its restraint, by the choice to focus on faces, glances, pauses, and silences rather than spectacle. Every moment of dialogue, every beat of silence, every fleeting act of courage or failure builds a web of tension that is both immersive and suffocating. By the end of this first section, it becomes clear. Season 6 of The Chosen is not merely continuing a story. It is pulling the audience into the heart of human fear, courage, and tragedy, forcing us to feel every betrayal, every hesitation, every crushing weight of injustice as if it were happening to us. There is no distance, no comfort, no escape, and that is what makes it unforgettable. As the events of episode 1 unfold, the weight of what is coming becomes impossible to ignore. The crucifixion, long anticipated in story and scripture, is no longer a distant, abstract concept. Here it is immediate, visceral, and terrifyingly real. Even before the physical act begins, the audience feels its emotional gravity pressing down with relentless force. Jesus is not simply moving towards suffering. Every step, every glance, every silent moment is loaded with meaning. The scene is stripped of spectacle, yet its power is undeniable. The audience is drawn into the psychological and emotional reality of the moment, the anticipation, the fear, the helplessness that surrounds him. We see the disciples already shaken, attempting to comprehend what is unfolding. Their faces reveal disbelief, terror, and sorrow. Every small movement of theirs, trembling hands, averted eyes, stifled gasps, speaks volumes. They are powerless, watching history unfold with no ability to change it, no miracles to prevent the agony that is imminent. That helplessness is contagious. It spreads to the audience, leaving us emotionally unmoored, unable to look away, yet unable to fully brace ourselves for what is coming next. The betrayal that has begun to ripple through the narrative deepens. Judas, whose actions have long been anticipated, is not portrayed as a simple villain. He is human, conflicted, weighed down by fear, doubt, and perhaps a misguided sense of necessity. His betrayal is horrifying not because of malice alone, but because it is a human choice, one we can understand even if we cannot condone it. Watching this unfold, the audience is forced to confront the fragility of trust, the ease with which fear can override loyalty, and the subtle ways in which ordinary people contribute to extraordinary injustice. The disciples' inability to intervene, their paralysis in the face of mounting danger, mirrors the audience's own helplessness. Every glance, every unspoken thought, every hesitation is magnified. The narrative does not spare us these small, crushing moments. They are presented with unflinching clarity, making the story feel lived in, immediate, and painfully real. This is not a story that allows distance. Every emotion is raw, every action carries weight, every silence is deafening. The first episode also introduces the audience to the overwhelming presence of authority figures. The Roman soldiers, the religious leaders, and even Pilate are portrayed with chilling calmness. They do not scream or rage. They do not rely on spectacle or theatrics. Instead, their power is quiet, controlled, and unrelenting. Each action, each order, Each question is measured, precise, and designed to assert dominance and control. The threat they pose is psychological as much as physical. Watching them, the audience understands immediately that the stakes are not merely life and death. They are moral, spiritual, and deeply personal. Every decision made by these authorities is deliberate, calculated, and designed to elicit compliance, fear, or despair. The balance of power is clear and terrifying, and at the center of it all stands Jesus, calm, unwavering, and profoundly human. His presence is both comforting and painful, a stark contrast to the chaos that surrounds him. It is in this contrast, the quiet courage of one man against the oppressive machinery of human power, that the episode finds its emotional core. The episode also begins to explore the physical and emotional cost of what is to come in ways that are subtle but unrelenting. Jesus' suffering is not exaggerated, but the anticipation of it hangs in every frame. We see the fear in the eyes of those around him, the silent dread in the air, the way ordinary people struggle to maintain composure when confronted with what they cannot control. The human cost of obedience, loyalty, and courage becomes immediately apparent. This is not a story about heroes or villains, it is about ordinary people faced with extraordinary circumstances, forced to confront their own limitations, weaknesses, and fears. Every pause, every glance, every faint movement of hesitation adds layers of tension, making the viewer intimately aware of the stakes. And that intimacy is what makes this episode so emotionally gripping. The audience is not merely observing history, they are experiencing it step by step, heartbeat by heartbeat, tremor by tremor. As episode 1 approaches the moment when Jesus is handed over for crucifixion, the sense of inevitability becomes overwhelming. Every failed intervention, every whispered plea, every fleeting attempt at mercy reinforces the inexorable progression towards suffering. The narrative does not rush this process, instead it stretches time, allowing the audience to inhabit each moment fully, to feel the moral weight of every choice and every act of inaction. The crucifixion is not a spectacle to be watched from a distance. It is an emotional event, a human tragedy, and a test of endurance for both the characters and the viewers. The silence between words, the trembling hesitation of the disciples, the quiet determination of Jesus, all of it combines to create a tension that is nearly unbearable. You can feel the suspense in your chest, a weight pressing down that mirrors the narrative itself. Perhaps the most powerful element of this episode is the way it humanizes everyone involved. No one is spared the emotional complexity of the moment. The religious authorities are calm but ruthless. The soldiers carry out their duties with quiet precision. The disciples struggle with fear, loyalty, and disbelief. And Jesus, in the eye of the storm, accepts what is to come with deliberate, almost unbearable calm. The episode forces the audience to recognize that suffering is not just physical. It is emotional, relational, and deeply personal. It is in the way betrayal feels heavier than blows, in the way silence can carry more weight than words, in the way watching someone you love suffer without the ability to intervene can break a person. This emotional layering is deliberate, immersive, and exhausting in the most compelling way. The audience is drawn into every moment, forced to feel the terror, the guilt, the sorrow, and the inevitability. By the end of Section 3, it is impossible to separate the story from the emotions it evokes. The first episode of The Chosen Season 6 is not simply a beginning, it is a plunge into the depths of human fear, courage, betrayal, and endurance. And just when you think the emotional weight cannot grow any heavier, the episode leaves the audience perched on the edge of inevitability, knowing that the crucifixion is coming and understanding that what we are witnessing is only the beginning of a journey that will demand every ounce of empathy, attention, and emotional strength.